Condo townhouses have a number of unique features that set them apart from typical condo apartments and from freehold houses as well. But they're not for everyone. In this video, I'm going to discuss those unique features and I'm going to look at the pros and the cons. So stick around to find out whether or not a condo townhouse is right for you. Welcome to the channel. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jason Bondy-Sawyer with the Bondy-Sawyer real estate team in the city of Toronto. I've been a full-time realtor since 2006 and I help buyers and sellers make smart real estate moves. Now, if you're thinking of making a move and you'd like to connect with an experienced professional who can help you create an action plan for doing so, you can book a call with me using that first link down in the description. I moved to Toronto in 1999, and in the 25 plus years that I've been here, my wife and I have lived in a number of different home types. And one of those was a condo townhouse. Now, that was a property that we owned and we lived there for 5 years with 2 young children. So as far as me going through the pros and cons here, you can rest assured that I am speaking from experience. Okay, let's jump into it. Pro number 1, your own front door. If you've seen the elevator lobby in a high-rise condo building on a weekday at 5 p.m., you know how busy it can be. You're essentially sharing your front door with all of the other residents in the building. Coming home to a condo townhouse is something quite different. There are no elevator lineups, there are no bustling front lobbies. Instead, you walk a few steps up from the street, you open your front door, and you're home. And if you're a dog owner, this is a huge pro for you. So in this way, condo townhouses are much closer to freehold houses. Pro number 2, a multi-level layout. Now, many people like the idea of having an upstairs and a downstairs, but this is tough to find when you're looking at condo apartments. There are 2-story lofts that have more than one level of living space. However, the upper level is typically open to the floor below, which is quite different than the upstairs and downstairs you would find in a house. In a multi-level townhouse, though, there is a greater separation of space, more so than what you're going to find in one of these 2-story lofts or a comparably sized 1-level condo apartment. Now, of course, not every condo townhouse is multi-level, right? The smaller ones in particular are usually just on 1 level, more similar to what you'd find in a typical condo apartment. But the larger units are often multi-level. And again, this is another one of those features that comes closer to what a freehold house has to offer. Pro number 3, more outdoor space than a condo apartment. Many high-rise condos do have balconies, and many of those smaller single-level townhouse units do as well. But it's hard to compete with what you get in some of the multi-level townhouses. And I'm talking about your own private rooftop terrace. And it's not just the extra square footage that makes these rooftop terraces so appealing, it's how the space is laid out. A typical high-rise condo is more long and narrow, whereas the rooftop terrace on a condo townhouse is typically more of a square shape. So this allows you to place a full-size patio set, barbecue, flower pots. It's also worth noting that a comparably sized terrace in a condo apartment is a premium feature, and the price is often going to reflect this. Pro number 4, a private garage. Condo apartments in a building typically have their parking located in an underground garage, and there are plenty of condo townhouse developments that have underground garage parking as well. And then there are some condo townhouse developments that have a surface level parking lot, usually located next to or behind the development. But the most sought after setup is when your condo townhouse has its own private built-in garage. And many of these have the added benefit of a door that opens from the garage directly into the unit, similar to what you'd find with an attached garage in a freehold house. Just imagine you come home with a car full of groceries, it's raining or snowing outside, you pull into the garage, you shut the door, get out of the car, protected from the elements, and open the door directly into your unit. Shelter from the elements is obviously a benefit of an underground parking garage as well, but there you have to lug your groceries from the car to the elevator, up the elevator, to your hallway, and then to your unit's front door. A private attached garage is just so much more convenient. Pro number 5, a stepping stone from a condo apartment to a freehold house. There are plenty of buyers out there, at least in the Toronto real estate market, where making that jump from a condo apartment up to a freehold house is simply not yet financially possible. So the multi-level condo townhouse serves as a stepping stone along the way. A condo townhouse is typically cheaper than a freehold house, so it's a much more attainable and affordable option for someone who's maybe outgrown their condo apartment, but they're not quite ready to make the jump to a semi-detached or a detached house just yet. And as I've already pointed out, You're still going to be getting a lot of the benefits that a freehold house has to offer, but you're getting them at a lower price point. Pro number 6, less upkeep than a freehold house. In a freehold home, you are responsible for the heating and the cooling systems, the plumbing, the electrical, the landscaping, the roof, everything that goes along with owning that type of property. When you consider the added stress, both mentally and financially, that comes with those responsibilities, you can see how some people would find peace of mind in being in a condo townhouse instead. Yes, there are monthly maintenance fees when you own a condo townhouse, and we'll get to those in a minute when we start talking about the cons. But the fact that all those other things are the responsibility of a property management company is a huge weight off of the shoulders. Okay, so those are some of the pros. Now, let's move on to the cons. Con number 1, lots of stairs. This is sort of the other side of the coin of having your own front door and a multi-level layout. While those things are great, it's not the same as taking an elevator up to your floor and then having everything on one single level. Many condo townhouses have a set of stairs from the street to your front door, and some of them, particularly stacked condo townhouses, have another set of stairs that greet you as soon as you open your front door. So you have to climb those as well before you really get to your first level of living space. So with some of these townhouses, you have at least 4 levels of stairs to deal with, going from the street all the way up to your rooftop terrace. And in many of these, the laundry is located all the way up on that top level, just inside the door that leads out to that rooftop terrace. So if you're someone who's maybe a bit older, you have some difficulty with walking, or maybe you're a young family and you have strollers to deal with, having so many levels of stairs is going to be a deterrent. I will say though, from experience, having that many stairs is an excellent way to ensure that you get your daily steps in. Con number 2, smaller footprint than a condo apartment. If you look at a 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom condo up in the sky, and you compare that to a 1,000 square foot multi-level condo townhouse, they're going to be very different experiences from one another. Because in the townhouse, the actual footprint of the property is quite a bit smaller because all of that square footage is broken up and spread out over multiple levels. So this is the trade-off that you get with having a multi-level property. Yes, you have all that square footage, but because it is spread out across multiple levels, it can feel smaller. Con number 3, the view is not as expansive as a condo apartment. The views out of condo townhouse windows are typically of just another row of condo townhouses across the sidewalk. Whereas the views out of a window up in a high-rise condo, you're typically going to have more to look at. Now, this is, of course, assuming that your condo building doesn't face directly into another condo building. Now, in a townhouse, once you get up to that rooftop terrace, your view is probably going to open up, right? Maybe you've got a bit of the city skyline to look at. Maybe you have a park nearby. So that's definitely a plus. But again, it doesn't really compare to that classic high-rise view that you're potentially going to get with being in a condo building. Con number 4, maintenance fees. Condo apartments, of course, have maintenance fees as well, but those typically come with the benefits of added amenities like a 24-hour concierge, a gym, a pool, a rooftop terrace. Condo townhouses can be tied to a larger complex that has those amenities, but more often than not, that's simply not the case. So you have much less to show for those monthly maintenance fees. And out of all the cons that I'm listing here, I would say this is probably going to be the biggest negative in the eyes of many buyers. For a lot of people, it's just tough to stomach paying a few $100s a month for what they perceive as much less of a benefit than what you would get in a condo building. Now, the monthly fees do obviously go towards something, and this is typically maintenance and upkeep of the common areas, landscaping, snow removal, and most importantly, the reserve fund. And that reserve fund is super important because condo townhouses do have windows, they have roofs, they have siding, they have parking garages, and these are all things that will eventually at some point start to deteriorate and need attention. Con number 5, less freedom than in a freehold house. So this is less of a con if we're comparing a condo townhouse to a condo apartment. But of course it does apply when we're comparing the townhouse to a freehold house. In a freehold house, you can renovate, knock down walls, build an addition, decorate however you want. You have lots of freedom. In a condo townhouse, you're part of a condo corporation. So there are rules and bylaws that you have to adhere to. So you're going to be much more limited with what you're able to do with the property. And when you do want to make changes, there's going to be some red tape and there's going to be some hoops that you have to jump through to get them approved. Of course, that does apply to freehold houses as well, right? When you do certain renovations, you need to get permits from the city, but it's typically not as restrictive as what you're going to find in a condo townhouse. Con number 6, less storage or bonus space than a freehold house. So one of the biggest upgrades that a lot of buyers find when they move from a condo townhouse up to a freehold house is all of the additional storage and bonus space that comes along with it. There's the added outdoor space like a front porch, a backyard, a back deck, a shed, and then inside the house, you have the basement. And whether that basement is finished or unfinished, it's just so much more storage that you're going to find in a condo townhouse. So when you compare a smallish semi-detached house, let's say 1,100 square feet on the main and upper levels, to an 1,100 square foot condo townhouse, with the semi-detached house, the addition of the front porch, plus the backyard, plus the basement, is often enough to make it an enticing move up from that condo townhouse. Of course, there will always be people who prefer high-rise living. Like I said at the beginning of the video, townhouses are not for everyone. But for those who are seeking something a bit quieter, something a bit more private, something with some of the features that a freehold house has, but without the added maintenance and the higher purchase price, condo townhouse is a great alternative. If you're thinking about buying or selling a condo townhouse, there are a couple of videos over here that you might want to take a look at. And over here is a link to subscribe to this channel. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.